Hello everyone, this is Dis, and we're gonna be going over the event Flower Night Stroll today. So I said I would cover this, and as I mentioned in a different video, it does not matter that I am late because you can do all of this right now. So I presume if you've been checking out other food fantasy YouTubers' guides such as Chow Xiao Bao, or maybe you've seen Dainty Stuff, I don't know. If you've seen either of their guides, they covered how to do this stage, how to do this stage, and how to do this stage. And I assume you've all been doing that to get a bunch of these map things, and that is the boss. That's the hard part. So we're going to be covering that today because no one else has really done much of that. But if you have been claiming all of your flowers here, if you've been getting all of them every day, and you haven't bought them with crystals yet, right here, you can actually get all of them at once. So I think there was maybe 300 in here, and I bought almost all of them. I bought in like 986 or something like that. So you can get all of them at any time if you are if you're planning on trying to go for Junmai. However, you don't have to buy as many as I did. You can just buy whatever you need as it gets closer, but you're not missing out on anything, and you can go as far in as you need whenever you want. So like on the last day, if you're going to need a lot, you're going to need what in previous events would have been multiple days worth of purchases, because they used to gate us every day on how many you could get, but now you could get like 2 days or 3 days worth if you needed, and that would be amazing. You wouldn't have to buy them every day. I'm going to briefly touch on these just in case you didn't get them. You want to do the highest difficulty you can. It's not incredibly hard to get the best you can do. It's not like this isn't a ridiculous stage to beat, I do not believe. And this is pretty hard, but we've had a lot of these in the past, so you should have been building healers, and there's going to be more of these where you need healers, so I recommend building some healers. If you're struggling, use these talents, I think. Which one is this? What is this? Why do I have this? I should not have that. It's not right. You'd want up damage. You'd want up damage and grilled purgatory, which increases your energy. So you want these two skills for the healing one. You would prefer to have some attack speed and some attack percentage on your fallen angels. It would help a lot. You probably want attack because I guess it depends. I don't know. You can try out different stuff, see what works with that, depending on what you have. But I didn't find this to be incredibly hard. My healers are really powerful, though, so keep that in mind. And then this one, I'm not really sure, to be honest, how difficult it is because I just kind of blasted through it, but I assume it could be pretty challenging. However, you should have been doing all this already, and it's kind of irrelevant because you get a map on all of them no matter what. Just so we're clear, the items, these are the items, and then these are separate things. These things are completely different. These two items are for something else. These are for progressing through the line. So now that I've briefly covered things everyone else has covered a bunch of times, we're just going to go cover the boss. So the boss, I have not seen anyone cover this in depth. Maybe they have. I mean, I know people like Sniper have covered it in depth, but I'm just going to cover it in the video so that it's more digestible than maybe a guide. But if you need all of the details, you should definitely look at some of the guides on the event. But you want to essentially get as high as you can on here. Just like preferably you want to upgrade. Like I found that as time went on in these other categories, I've been able to beat them so much easier because every time I have better food souls. So like the last healing event, I'm pretty sure I could only do hard. Last time there was this same sort of event, the same style, I'm pretty sure I couldn't do ultra hard. So I've improved a lot, and you kind of want to make sure you're building for specific events so that you will be able to do, because they rerun similar kinds of events, so you want to build all those specific things. But yeah, essentially just do your best. Preferably you want to get as best as you can because these obviously give you more points. Each one is its own point, So you essentially you need to get as many as you can. If you're losing out in some of these other areas, not only are you losing out on more of red knots, I believe. Oh no, you get the same. So the only thing you're losing out on is more of the end result materials. You're gonna be missing out seriously if you can't do here. So I recommend that if you can't get ultra hard, you probably don't want to invest as much into this event unless you are confident you can rank well. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say like if you're just getting easy that you should spend crystals on this. Like just do whatever you can. Don't spend crystals if you're only getting easy. So let's talk about how to deal the damage. You're going to have to deal a lot of damage, and I'm going to cover so much stuff that I can think of. So basically, the first important thing is to look at the boss details, and you'll notice that the first thing he has is to lower the attack speed and boosts your skill damage for all of your food souls. So basically, what this means is you want to focus your team entirely around skill damage, and then basic attack damage is reduced by 99%. So that eliminates so many food souls like beer who buff your basic attack, and other ones that don't have really good skill attacks. That kind of puts them all out of the picture. Anyone who has really bad skill usability is not going to be good for this boss. So if your unit is doing like 80% on their skills, 80% of their attack damage is skills, they're not going to do as well as like Champagne, who does like 180 or 200% attack damage, which is ridiculous because you're just going to be popping off all those skills constantly. And then some artifacts, if you have artifacts, they might help you because they boost various skill damage or do extra skill damage. So look at stuff like that. I forgot to put this in the video, but this also means you want to use attack Fallen Angels. You do not want to use attack speed, you want to use attack because it said 80% reduction in attack speed, which applies to your Fallen Angels too, meaning that you will not be able to move fast at all, and it will not be worth it. Every 2 seconds randomly deals damage, and this doesn't end up being a really big deal usually, but this is a huge deal. Every 25 seconds, every food soul will be charmed, and let me just say, you gotta have someone who can protect you from charm, whether it be Fondant, who is pretty much necessary. If you don't have Fondant, you cannot rank on this event. Like you will not do well if you do not have Fondant. But if you have someone else like DHP, you will be able to build like a team with a tank and then survive. So you could put in like Crab with HPFA, and you could put in DHP and then a good healer, and then maybe you would be okay. You might be okay, but if you don't have DHP, I think that's DHP's like tier 4 or something. I don't know what other food souls stop charm, but I know Fondant is like the most one, because like I still get charmed sometimes, even though I have all this stuff. I still get charmed with Fondant, and I have Fondant like tier 4 or something, like Fondant like full speed. I still get charmed. It's so bad. So if you don't have Fondant, it's not good. You can also have Cloud Tea, but you know, you can have Cloud Tea, but at tier 5 RD. So that's probably not you, I assume. If you're watching this guide and you really don't know what to do, yeah, you probably don't have that. And then Team Continuous Damage makes all food souls take. He does do a lot of damage. I have noticed he does a significant amount of damage, but it's usually not enough to kill you if you have good healers. I have to have 2. One of them luckily takes away the big debuff of the boss, so you know it's and one's Candy Cane, who makes you invincible and heals you and buffs your attack, which is also really good. And then yeah, every 70 seconds you take massive damage, so you could get wiped. I suggest you pretty much have to have Fondant. If you don't, try to run something else like a tank. I think maybe you could have all of your units sponge their damage into a tank, and then you'd be okay, maybe. But like you don't want to die early. It's not a good idea. So what I have is I have 3 damage dealers. One one is for buffing pretty much. If I wasn't using SP Rice, I would probably use this man right here, because he's also good at buffing the whole team, and especially since you can't use strength, you have to use magic. So because you have to use magic, he's really good. If you could use strength, you would use Turkey, because Turkey's skill damage is whack, and obviously you'd want to do that. And you can't use Mappo, or you'd probably use Mappo, especially if you had her at 5-star. And that's obviously for meta. If you don't have all of that, you just use your best attackers. But usually a lot of them are strength. They're not magic, aside from like a few that a lot of people have. A lot of people have like black tea, and I assume you would have B52, which might not be a good option for this. B52 is not really that great. Double Scoop is good because Double Scoop is buffed, but obviously I have better stuff than Double Scoop. Champagne would be good if I had him built and I had any of his RD, which I don't. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But here's what the actual battle itself looks like. So I have Fondant to keep me from dying constantly, and I have Candy Cane to help with that. I have 2 attackers and a buffer who is also does pretty good attack, I'd have to say. And I have these important skills, which would be the up damage and the increase energy, because obviously you're trying to up your damage. It just ups all damage, so it works for the skill damage too. And then the energy will allow you to do more skills, which is more damage. And also, Natto gives you energy recharge, so that's helpful for skills too. So let's go in and do one. We'll see how it goes. I can kind of show you what's happening, why it's happening. I think you want to go to 1 times because then you proc more abilities. That's what I heard. I heard you proc more abilities in 1 times, so you're gonna proc more skills, which is the only way you can really do damage. So pretty much, if I see a bunch of my 3 attackers filling up, I want to click this one so that they can do their massive skills and do a big portion of damage. And if I see a lot of them are empty on energy, I'll click that, and that will help them all get there. So that's kind of what I roll with. Hopefully we don't come across any really bad RNG. We could come across something like a charm wipe where I lose all of my attackers all of a sudden from charm, which has happened to me at least 50% of the time, I'd say. So it's not uncommon because Fondant, doesn't always come through. So there's no real way to gauge a lot of, like, it's hard to gauge how good you're doing. Obviously, you want to hit certain points. Like if you're trying to go for the highest, you're trying to hit below 40%, which is not going to be likely for many people. If you're trying to go, you can find all the other ones, but essentially you got to get past certain milestones to do the maximum damage. If you're not hitting that ratio, you can always pause and leave, and then you can retry when you've adjusted some stuff. So I suggest maybe writing down some timestamps or pausing before you finish or die or whatever, and then writing down the percent that you got the boss to, and see if you can beat it a few times before submitting all of your attempts, because you want to get the highest damage possible, right? So definitely do that. Another thing, I do not suggest wailing at the last minute if you think you're going to beat people on the ranking, because it's chaos. You can lose a lot of money, and you might not even get... Oh wow, Fauna just straight up died. I have not seen that. Like I was saying, you basically do not want to wail the last minute of the event. You don't want to wail. You don't want to wail to try to beat people in the ranking in the last minute, because lots of people will do that. And it's stressful, and if you're not prepared for the stress, or to do tons more damage than them, you will get beaten out and you will lose money. So if you're not doing like over 40%, you're not doing significantly close to the max possible damage. If you're not doing that, you do not want to try to wail to beat people in the last hour of the event. That is about the stupidest thing you could do. I recommend not wailing in general, because this food soul Junmai, He isn't particularly strong, and he's not particularly better than any of the units that I have, or just other ones that you can get. So I don't really think you should ever wail for him specifically. I know I'm not going to. I will not pay anything for this event. I'm not going to pay a thing. All I've spent is crystals so far, and I've just done a lot of damage because I happen to have fondant, and I happen to have a good buff unit, and I happen to have a lot of really strong magic units. I mean, that's the only thing that's coming through. Other than that, like, I would not spend money even if I was not going to get any food soul. So this is going to be a really grueling process. You want to get started on it as soon as possible. So I suggest, since it's one of the last days of the event, there's like 3 days left, I suggest you do some test runs if you haven't already. So get in here, try out some things, see what kind of damage you're doing, and just see how it's looking like for you. And I really hope you've just been doing all your daily stuff. But make sure you have a game plan, because you don't want to run out of time. You can run out of time. It's not that hard to run out. I mean, it's not that easy to run out of time, because we only have a few tries to beat this boss. I have not done this boss like 40 times. I've only done this boss like 15 times at most. Most of this event has been really chill. I have not been doing much other than my dailies. I have not been putting tons of time into this event. This is one of the easiest ranking events. Like I said, this is the most forgiving one I've ever seen, because you can buy this stuff at any day. I don't know if any of the other ones have been like that, but this is definitely one of the easiest ranking events. It's close to a white truffle. It's really close to a white truffle, where you do not have to put in drastic amounts of time to do the thing. You just do the thing. As long as you know how to do it and you're capable of doing it, you can do it. Which is not the same for other events. I can't spend crazy amounts of time all the time in the game. And it's nice to have such an easy one that I know I'm not going to want to wail on. And also, they gave us 90 flowers. They gave us 90 of them for some reason. I don't know what it was for. I think it was maybe for the first few days where they had the times ridiculous. The times were crazy. They were crazy. You had to be a mad lad. You had to literally wake up in the middle of the night. I had to wake up in the middle of the night for a few days to be able to... Like, I stayed up all night just to claim those things because the times were ridiculous. So I just hit past 40%, which means I get the best reward, which is very important. But obviously, I'm also trying to rank because I can, because my damage is so high. I mean, everyone can rank, but I'm trying to rank like really high. My highest percent that I've gotten him down to is maybe like 19 or something. It's not looking like a 19 this time. It's looking to be a little bit less than that. But I'll take this one because, like I said, I've had to reset multiple times before, and it's just not worth it. It is not worth it to keep resetting once you know what your parameters are. If you're only missing like 1%, don't waste another 6 minutes trying to reset. If you're only 1% off, it's like I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna get really close to my all-time low. It's only gonna be like 1 million less, and it's not worth the stress. It's not a good idea. It's a very RNG based system, so I'll take what I can get. We did pretty good. We got down to 22%. That's pretty common. I'm actually doing kind of well, I think. This is pretty well. Let's see what the final outcome is. So, obviously I got all of them. This is a good damage. This is better than average, actually. So I get anywhere from like 21, that's a million, right? Yeah. I get anywhere from like 21 mil to like 24. That's my range. My highest damage dealer is Natto because pizza is lacking. If I had champagne, I would use champagne instead. Candy cane actually does some damage. If you're trying to get like top 500, you can do it if you have good stuff. Let's look at what that looks like. So, you might be asking yourself, what are people doing in the ranking? Well, this event is very easy to hit max. I've seen so many people hit max. I can almost hit max. I've not usually come close to hitting max, but this time I can, because I have a lot of the good food souls for it. Everyone's just using fondant. I guess fondant's better for damage than Cloud Tea. So you've got a lot of max here. Everyone's max. You come down a little bit less max. Not quite max. This person's similar to me. This person is a little bit below. A lot below, like half. But they're still doing well. How's Sniper doing? Oh, that's really good. Butter tea. I also have 2-star butter tea. Glass. Glass hit max. Whoa. Okay. Glass probably didn't want to spend any crystals. I understand. She doesn't want to waste them all. So we've got a lot of people, like people who are hitting this. I expect them to jump up in the rankings. But what are people at, like, so here, if you hit like a third of the boss's health, you're getting up here. You're getting up here in like the 60s range. In the 80s range, you're doing significantly less than that. That's a large margin lower. Let's see. Yeah, this is a seriously low margin here. This is like 1/6, which is crazy. You can get this high right now. There's no way it's gonna stay like that. There's no way. I would never expect it to stay like that. There is no way it will stay. People who are going to try to get higher will get higher later on because they're saving, which is why I said you have time to do this event from when I post this video if you watch it. You have time to get in and do this stuff and try to do your best. Anyway, I wish you luck in the ranking event. If you have any questions, please let me know, or check out some guides. You can find other food fantasy YouTubers' guides. I'll link them. And they also have links to more sources that you can find information. But you have to get on. If you're behind, you got to get on it now. You got to go and do it right now because you have to submit your damage. But I think this might be 4 days. I can't check here. I don't think. I have to check here. You might have 4 days to do this. Yeah, you have 4 days to do it. Pretty much. This video should be uploaded in like what, an hour or something from this time. We'll see. You guys can fact check me on that. But this video, you'll be able to tell when it's uploaded based on this. But yeah, you have a good amount of time. You'll have like at least 3.5 days. You have at least 3.5 days. So what that means is go do your bosses. Get informed as quickly as you can. Spend half of a day getting informed, and then do the last 2 days. Or you could take a day. You could take a break while you farm for more stuff. I don't know. Do whatever you want, but you have a little bit of time, and you can do the whole event right now. You don't have to wait to do the event. You can do the entire stuff. You can do everything right now, whenever you want. You didn't have to start as long as you've been claiming your daily stuff. Thanks for watching this guide. I have been Dis. If you enjoyed, let me know, leave a like, and subscribe maybe. I will see you all in another video. Goodbye.